Yes, hello and welcome to the HODLNOTS Weekly Warm-Up. I'm John,
I'm Vicky.
and it is 9 a.m. UTC, and currently the same time as South Africa in Budapest. Now, moving on, let's get into the crypto headlines that have been making headlines for the last week or so. So, what's been happening? Well, we all know Bitcoin all-time high for the moment, amongst some others as well. Bitcoin and Ripple XRP have hit fresh milestones as altcoins take off. Yes, as mentioned last week, Monday, when we spoke about Bitcoin dominance falling, it's keeping on falling for the moment, and it's great. It was a big week in the cryptocurrency world with the US voting on a few legislations, which we'll cover shortly again, and fresh all-time highs for Bitcoin and some larger cap coins. We've seen a bunch of them flying. Last week, Monday, Bitcoin broke 123,000, setting that record as well. Weekly close, lovely. And Ripple XRP led the charge amongst others and notched a new record of its own at over $3.60 before it retraced to its previous high of $3.40, which is amazing. Other double-digit price gainers for the last week and gaining include Ethereum, Doge, XLM, good old Monero, Link, HBAR, AVAX, and many, many more. Vicky.
Yeah, it's been incredible the last week or week and a half, and this could be the reason why, don't know. But Crypto Week did usher in a big change last week. So Crypto Week in the US has ended with victories, or some victories for the crypto lobby, with the Genius Act now ratified by President Trump, actually Friday. The US Congress has concluded its Crypto Week with the passage of the Genius Act. And it's also sending the other two bills to the Senate after it successfully voted after no small amount of deliberation. So that's an amazing outcome for Crypto Week. So the House also passed the Clarity Act, the long-awaited market structure bill championed by the blockchain industry, as well as the Republican Representative Tom Emmer's bill that would ban the Federal Reserve from issuing central bank digital currencies. So those are the CBDCs. The latter two bills will head to the Senate, where the slimmer pro-crypto Republican majority could mean more start that again. Could mean more deliberation and amendments before they get passed. So that was a great result for Crypto Week last week. And watch this space because we will bring you what happens to the other two bills probably next week.
Absolutely. And for more on that, go and have a watch the recording of the HODLNOTS Happy Hour Hangout last week, where we covered that in depth. As usual, HODLNOTS bring it to your first, and we'll continue to keep you updated on those stories. Now, speaking about updating, we've all heard of Bitcoin ETFs, have been around for a little while, and well, ETFs in general, as we've also mentioned on last week's HODLNOTS Happy Hour Hangout, have been around for some time. But Ethereum spot ETFs have now 1 year on. And how have they performed? So, roughly a year ago, the US financial market witnessed the debut of spot Ethereum exchange traded funds, ETFs. The products have enabled investors to have regulated exposure to the second largest cryptocurrency without holding it. That's one of the benefits of ETFs in general. The past 12 months have been eventful for spot ETFs for Ethereum, from a slow start with minimal inflows to outflows, and then now massive positive flows, generally the inflows, right? Regardless of the state of these products, they have played a significant role in driving institutional crypto adoption since their inception. So remember, we spoke about last week as well on the HODLNOTS Happy Hour Hangout. We spoke about BlackRock around their Bitcoin ETFs, and how many people are getting exposure to crypto through a regulated manner as well. Now, we spoke about with the idea that Bitcoin is a decentralized asset, but when you have institutions like BlackRock and so forth, who are all starting to get more or accumulate more and more Bitcoin, it's a little bit of that BlackRock paradox that we spoke about. More on that on last week's recording. But we've spoken as well in the weekly warm-ups in the last couple of weeks about how the possible summer of altcoin or meme coin ETFs as well will be coming into play. So with Bitcoin ETFs, Ethereum ETFs, and a bunch more, global adoption will be growing as awareness and accessibility to crypto in its various forms does grow. Over to you, Vicky.
Yeah, it's not just Bitcoin ETFs and ETFs in general. It's actually crypto is being adopted amazingly quickly around the world. And BitGet, they did a study and they've uncovered crypto usage in purchases, gaming, and travel. So a new report from BitGet has revealed that crypto adoption trends are shifting from speculation to spending. So people used to just talk about it. Now they're actually putting their money where their mouth is. So based on an online survey of 4,599 participants from the Bitcoin wallet community, the data showed that over 35% use it for daily transactions, as well as gaming and travel, signaling what could be a global shift in the use of digital assets. So it is changing slowly but surely.
Yeah, we'd love to know as well from all of you whether or not your country allows that or has um, mechanisms available where you could purchase your groceries or even pay for travel, or even buy a house using crypto. We'd love to know more from you. Pop it in the Q&A down below if you'd like to. No pressure at all, but it is as we grow in terms of global adoption around crypto and regulations come into play, you'll start to see that crypto payments become everyday and used everywhere. Now, because Bitcoin is on the mouths or in the mouths of so many people, and what's been happening with Crypto Week last week in the US, global adoption is starting to really pick up. And because Bitcoin's breaking all-time highs, we have seen a 43% dominance within social chats around Bitcoin, right? So suggesting with these stats that this is now a key entry point. Now, for those of you who know how to trade and read charts, you've done the HODLNOTS Foundational Trading course, you would know when is a good time to get in and get out. But according to this study, nearly half of all crypto-related mentions on social media this last week have centered around Bitcoin as it hit new highs. All right, 43% is a lot on social media across the board. As Bitcoin's market value crept above $123,000 for the first time last week, Monday, in its 17 plus year history, there was an equally historic social dominance spike, meaning more and more people are talking about Bitcoin everywhere. 43.06% to be precise of all crypto discussions were around Bitcoin, just as the coin's market value was peaking. And Bitcoin's going to become everyday vernacular for everybody. So good things to come, promise you now. But on that note, Vicky will be covering the fear and greed index, and that kind of ties into play with that last story. But back to the crypto headlines, Vicky.
Yeah, that's if you think about it, almost half of everything in social media was Bitcoin. That's incredible. All those tweets and posts. But closer to my home currently, so this is about adoption. Now, Bitcoin backed mortgages have debuted in Australia amid the housing crisis. So, Australia's block owner has launched a Bitcoin backed mortgage as a new path into the property market following a regulatory win that cleared the way for crypto backed lending. As home prices in Australia continue to outpace income, a company is rolling out a Bitcoin backed mortgage, offering crypto holders a new way to access the property market without selling their assets. And that's huge over here because Australia is being led kicking and screaming into crypto as a whole, but for them to actually now pass a law that you can use your Bitcoin without selling it as collateral for your mortgage is huge. So watch this space, and I might do some more research on that actually.
Absolutely. We've started mentioning more of these stories in the last couple of weeks as well. And again, global adoption regulations are going to be shifting, and I think that a lot of countries will be able to have crypto-backed loans around mortgage loans and that in the future. So very exciting. Well done, Australia, as well, for pushing that despite things. So very cool. All right. Speaking about slight shifts, some of you might know the name Peter McCormack. All right. So. Some are regarding Peter McCormack as Bitcoin's first Batman, right? Peter McCormack plans to buy his own police force. So a little bit of an interesting topic. Bitcoiner Peter McCormack says the police have failed the town of Bedford in the UK and he insists he can do a better job by deploying his own security teams. So the prominent Bitcoin podcaster and Bedford FC, or real Bedford FC owner Pete McCormack claims that he can tackle some of Bedford's rising crime rates much better than the local police force, taking on a role some might liken to a real-life Batman. So interesting use of funds, not just buying a football club, but helping the community be safer as well. Interesting.
Yeah, and maybe they can help this next poor person because a sealed, in quotation marks, wallet from TikTok cost a buyer of the wallet $6.9 million worth of crypto. So a person who bought what looked like a sealed, brand new hardware wallet advertised on the Chinese version of TikTok was a victim of a $6.9 million crypto heist, losing all of their funds in minutes. So the victim bought what appeared to be a legitimate ledger, the hardware wallet, on the Douyin shop, and which is an e-commerce Chinese platform. And what happened was they got it home, they opened it up, they started to initiate it, and it gave them the seed phrase just like normal. So it looked like it was actually a real one. They popped their funds in it, and what happened was it was not, it was pre-populated with that seed phrase. So as soon as they did that, it went right out, and the people that actually had sold it got $6.9 million worth of crypto. So please, if anyone buys Ledger, Trezor, any of the hardware wallets, buy it from the company. Never buy it on TikTok or eBay or Facebook or any of the marketplaces. So that would be heartbreaking. Mm.
But it serves as a reminder to always
Mm.
DYOR, right? Everybody,
Yeah.
you need to learn to do your research. Don't trust everything you hear on TikTok
Mm.
or any other social
Mm-mm.
platforms. Um,
Yeah.
Always do your own research around that, especially when it comes to hardware wallets and that kind of thing as well. Um, cool. Well, those are some interesting headlines. We're going to be moving on into what I alluded to a little earlier, is that while Bitcoin is 43.06% on people's lips, and with Bitcoin price going up, we're going to be looking at the fear and greed index. Yes, over there. Well, I'll get to that other part shortly. Over to you, Vicky.
Thank you. So the fear and greed index is around the same as it was last week at 72. So yeah, last week it was 74, so it's only come down slightly, which means even though the market is absolutely pumping, people are being very sensible about it. So no one is playing cowboy. So that is good news for the market because that's sustainable.
Absolutely. Now, let's have a look at sustainability and what the week kind of looks like in play. Because when we last looked at it a week ago, I kind of thought that Bitcoin would be going a little sideways, knowing that there was a big resistance on that day charts, and it just went boom. All right. So who knows? We're going to have a quick look at that. Yes, currently, well, according to that, let's see if it's still $119,330. It's close enough, but we won't get into time frames here at least. Let's have a quick look at Bitcoin dominance and Bitcoin for the week ahead. Currently, this is what we're looking at. Let's just do this for a second. Um, some of you, those of you who know, you know, we're looking at Bitcoin here on the day charts and still looking fairly positive. We're looking at some good support areas. And for those of you who've done the HODLNOTS foundational trading course and have the HODLNOTS indicator, a bunch of things are telling you here what all is happening. We're still looking at a little bit of a resistance, obviously that all-time high of 123,000 plus, depending which exchange you might be on. But we're looking roughly there. But things are still looking fairly positive for Bitcoin. Bringing this into play for those of you who know the HODL fire, and you're looking at a temporary top at the moment, but with the momentum and with people talking about Bitcoin and everything going on, there's a good chance that we're going to start to still see this rise. But well, some of you might be Bitcoin maxis, and some of you want to see Bitcoin go higher. A lot of us want to see the altcoins run, right? And what is that going to really be dictated by? And that is having a look at, haha, beautiful. We looked for it, we hoped for it, and it happened. And this is what very big part of the reason why altcoins, whether it be Ethereum and Ripple, or the meme coins like Pengu and Bonk and everything else that have been running, is because Bitcoin dominance has been dropping on the day. All right, it's great to see we've just nearly clipped 60, just below 60%. Again, now what does this mean for those of you who don't know? means out of the crypto market cap, what percentage of the cash flowing in or the trade and transactions is really centered around Bitcoin, and the remainder then around the altcoins. So when the dominance is high, it means that the money is flowing more into Bitcoin and less so into the altcoins. But as soon as the Bitcoin dominance starts dropping, even if Bitcoin's going up, it means that money is still flowing into Bitcoin, but more of it is going into altcoins. And that's what we want to see. That's why we want to see the Jasmys and the T Fuels and everything else run for those longer term plays. And then obviously for us as scalpers and hodl fires, we want to see all of these really light up. And there's been some big runs um, in the last few days. That's each of these day candles of the Bitcoin dominance drops down. We see this beautiful respite, and we start to see a little bit of the altcoin season coming into play. So keep an eye on the Bitcoin dominance. I think that we're going to see a little bit of consolidation going sideways for a day or two, maybe a little bit more of a drop. And as soon as it starts dropping, we'll start to see the altcoins running a bit more. So fingers crossed that that happens. And there's plenty of scalping, hodl firing, and medium-term trading available for everybody there. Vicky, back over to you. And you're muted.
I said, thank you. That is really good news. But also good news. So we have lots of calls in the lodge today and this week. Now, for those of you that I do see quite a few people that are not HODLNOTs, so welcome. And also welcome as usual to our HODLNOTs. We have something called the lodge and we have something called the den. So HODLNOTs, once you do the course, the HODLNOTs, any of the foundational courses, we have 2 Telegram rooms that you can go into, the den and the lodge. The den is where we trade, so we call coins for each other and we profit together. And the lodge is where we learn. So every week there are lots of calls in the lodge to continue the learning. And what we're going to do now is just quickly go through them. And the first one is actually important because there has been a slight change to the schedule this week. Now, those of you that are participating in our 3M challenge, which is, again, once you graduate and you go into the lodge, there is a challenge that you can do, and it takes $40 and it pops it up to 2,500 through lots and lots and lots and lots of trades. And that is a 6,150% total gain on your portfolio. So that's amazing. So we have quite a lot of people doing the challenge, and every week we have 2 calls, one in each time zone. Now, the first one is normally not today, but it is today. So the first HODL call will be today instead of Wednesday. So it's today at 7 p.m. UTC. So the details will be in your respective dot rooms. So everyone has a dot room. And make sure you're on that one. We will have a second one at the end of this week. But for those of you that normally jump on Wednesday, it's today. So just make sure you jump on today. And then the next call we're going to have is Tuesday, so tomorrow. And that is at 8 a.m. UTC, which is our regularly scheduled normal Wendy training session. So every week she trades and trains. So you can jump on that as well at 8 a.m. UTC on Tuesday. And that will be followed by not everyone can join this one, but those of you who are doing our self-paced call, because there are some HODLNOTs that are redoing the course. So if you are on the call, if you are on the call and not a HODLNOT yet, that is at 12 p.m. UTC tomorrow. And then on Wednesday, we have our weekly HODL Fire call at 12 p.m. So those of you who have a HODL Fire subscription, you should be in, don't forget to join the HODL Fire Telegram channel because that information will be in there as well. But that call will be at 12 p.m. UTC to this week, and that's John will be hosting that. So that's always fun. And then Thursday is our second of our HODL calls. So that will be hosted by Marcel, and Marcel is on the call today. And I'm going to do a special HODL aerobics just for you, Marcel. So he's asked for them today. So he'll be hosting the HODL call on Thursday. So he is always a big draw card. So make sure you jump on then. Now, the other one is after that is our other self-paced call. So we have 2 a week, and that is also at 12 p.m. UTC. So again, these are not open calls, but they are for the people that are doing the self-paced, and it's always a good. We've had quite a few people that have done the course before redo the course, and they're really enjoying it. So those are the 2 calls we'll be having this week, and that is a busy schedule from the lodge as always. There you go.
Absolutely. Bearing in
Mm.
mind that HODL Fire is open to anyone and everyone as well, provided you have a trial coupon or if you haven't used it before, or a subscription to that. So do join us on Wednesday for that. Should be good. Lots of opportunities, lots of coins breaking up over the 1 day 200. What does that mean? Potential resistance, but once above that, things are going to fly. And I see, I mean, my Pengu trade got wicked out on my stop loss, but it's still going. But all good. Happiness around. Now, speaking about happiness, I think everybody who's on this call, a lot of you, we're all waiting for this, and this is the only reason people join the call. So, for some HODL Robics, over to you, Vicky.
Okay, this one's a little bit complicated, but okay. So just kind of get that sweat off your hands, like just rubbing them on your thigh just a little bit, and then we'll just clap the hands just a little bit so there's no sweat on them. And then we're just going to just stretch a little bit, just like this a little bit, and then we're going to just kind of bang our head together just a little bit, and then we're just going to go like that and that and and we're going to do the hand jive. Ready? So clap and clap. And I'm and this and that and this. Okay, and this and that. One more time. And clap. And this and this and this and clap and that.
I think we
And
need to
that's the hand jive.
bring back some of the favorites and redo them all again. All right, hopefully everybody's warmed up and that's the hand jive. All right, fantastic. I think we're going to be interested to see what is next week all around that. So everybody loved that. Everybody's giving you lots of rounds of applause. So amazing stuff. And then on that note, so ladies and gents, thanks for joining the call. Just remember that this week, Friday, is the HODLNOTS Live Foundational Trading course. For those of you who still need to and want to understand timeframes and want to understand how to use indicator, the HODLNOTS indicator for entries and exits on any time frame. It isn't about scalping only, but we love it. But we are able to then trade on any time frame after that knowledge as well. So for more information, do check it out. But in closing, Vicky's got the weekly thought ahead.
Yes. So whatever you do, always give 100%. Except if you're giving blood, don't give 100% if you're giving blood.
Absolutely. On that positive note, we hope you all have a fantastic week. We're going to catch you guys on some of the calls this week on Wednesday. Keep an eye on Bitcoin dominance as it continues to drop. Oh, it's really testing to try below 60.75 right at the moment at 60.85. So if that continues dropping, also going to continue pumping. Lots of scalping opportunities, HODL fire opportunities. Go out there, grab life by the bullhorns as the market starts to gear up. Until later this week and next week again. See you later.